This is a stove video. Yeah, you are excited, I can tell. This is also a pot video. Which stove and which pot are we looking at today? We are looking at the Vargo Bot Titanium 1 liter pot and the Triad alcohol burner stove. We're also going to look at 3 fast, easy, lightweight, and elevated recipes you can cook on a pot like this or a stove like this. So come along, let's get cooking. Hey, Chef Corso, Outdoor Eats. I'm here to put you on the path to amazing meals on your outdoor treks, and I'm here sitting by a little river in Longmont, Colorado. Man, where is Corso these days, indeed? But we are looking at the Vargo Titanium combination. The fine folks of Vargo sent me some stoves, and I was able to test them out at a few locations around the country. But the interesting thing about alcohol stoves is they do cook and they do react a little bit differently than your standard propane stove or your standard isobutane stove. So we're going to talk about a few different things. If you are new to alcohol stoves, if you're a seasoned vet, then maybe you want to fast forward all the way to the recipes, but you might learn something too. And one thing about this video is I'm sitting here in Colorado, but this was also filmed on a day hike in Mount Rainier and also on a road trip to Salt Lake City because, you got to eat when you're road tripping. Here are the few things that I've learned from cooking on these alcohol stoves. For this round, I do have a little bit of experience in the past on some backpacking trips, but number one is get a windscreen or make a windscreen. You can buy one. They're really, really cheap, really lightweight, whether that's a little foil situation or a nice foldable metal guy, or you can make one with some rocks and some fallen trees to be able to give you a windbreak. But that will make your cooking way, way more efficient and make sure you get dinner in your belly faster. So that's number one. 2, fuel. Yes, this is using alcohol, but there are a lot of different types of alcohol you could use for this. For this video, use some isopropyl alcohol, but also another thing that I learned in doing this is make sure you get an isopropyl alcohol that has enough alcohol in it or it doesn't burn because there's just too much water in there or the ratio of the other ingredients just don't work. So make sure you get enough alcohol in your alcohol. But a lot of other options are some heat, which is a methanol product, and a few other options I have here that you can consider packing along. But the advantage of an alcohol stove is that usually they are very, very small, very, very lightweight. They cook relatively quickly, and it's really, really great for a long haul trip to be able to minimize your overall volume and minimize your overall weight. Number 3, really, really important here is once you get your alcohol in your stove, you need to light it and you need to let it prime. This is very, very different than other style of stoves because usually you light, you put the pot on there, you put your ingredients in there, and you're ripping and you're cooking. But for alcohol stoves, you need to let it prime. And what that means is the little vortex that's going on here. I've said before, I'm not a scientist, I'm a chef. I don't exactly know what's going on here, but I know that it needs to get going, it needs to get happy, and it needs to get primed. And you can see that the burner, and you can see that the flame eventually goes from kind of sputtering to a nice consistent rolling flame and goes right into the middle of your pot. So it needs to prime, but priming will take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on your stove and depending on your elevation. Number 4 is cook time. So if you don't have a big canister of gas that you potentially could cook for 20, 30, 40, or 50 minutes, depending on what you're cooking, not that I want to cook that long anyway when it comes to cooking dinner on the trail, most of the reservoirs for the small alcohol stoves will give you about 20 minutes of burn time. But again, that is not hard and fast, and it's just a general guideline. But often what I'll do once that stove starts to prime, if I'm just boiling water, I'll get that water in the pot and put it on the burner and give it a little bit of a head start. But you've got about 20 minutes of cook time, and you might be thinking, oh, well, I can't really cook a whole lot. Well, not true. You could still saute up some meat and some veggies, boil up a few ounces and a few portions of water to be able to make a really great soup, boil up some noodles, cook up some couscous, and for the recipes that we have coming up, you can just elevate some of those pantry ingredients with a few ingredients, and it's really, really, really darn tasty. And the other thing to note before we get into the recipes here is this Vargo pot does have a gasket on the top, which can be super helpful. So it could turn into a water bottle. It also could turn into a cold soaking vessel also. So you're not super concerned about your water spilling out, but you could easily do a cold soak breakfast meal, or if you are a cold soak, lunch or dinner, you do you for that, but it can be a nice reservoir for that. And also if you do have some leftovers, you can pack those in there and have a nice seal and nothing's gonna get in there. So as we get into the recipes that I am looking for cooking up on these alcohol stoves is quick cooking options, but you can do a quick little saute of a few little veggies, a little bit of meat, maybe add a little bit of liquid and season up that broth, adding some noodles, adding some rice, adding some instant mashed potatoes. So you can either turn it into a soup, into a stew, but all the recipes I'm showing here today cook up in about 5 or 10 minutes after that stove is primed. Easy packable ingredients that you're probably taking along anyway, with just a couple little spices or a couple little ingredients that for me really add dimensions of flavor and dimensions of enjoyment. So you're actually excited when you get to camp and you want to eat some dinner. But let's get into it. Recipe number 1, bacon cheddar grits. Yeah, grits are an amazing ingredient to pack along, but what we are using for this is Jiffy cornbread mix, because Jiffy is cornmeal and a little bit of wheat plus some leavening agent. And you can use quick cooking grits. They're available in a lot of grocery stores, especially in the South. But why we're using Jiffy is that it cooks up really, really fast, really, really easy, and it's available at just about every grocery store or gas station for sometimes under $1. But what I like to do is get that bacon going, give it a little bit of kiss of heat. It's been sitting in a package for who knows how long, so I like to give that a little bit of kiss of heat before I add the water to get that boiling. But all we're gonna do is boil our water and then add our Jiffy cornbread mix and a little bit of cheddar cheese, and we've got a great, hearty, satisfying, and cheap meal in just a few minutes. Our second recipe is chicken bacon ranch. You're already packing along instant mashed potatoes, you're already packing along packaged chicken. Just go ahead and pack along some ranch seasoning plus some pre-cooked bacon. And you can add some French's fried onions, some Parmesan crisp, or some cheese snacks to really fill out your bowl. But this recipe, all you really need to do is boil water and mix it all together, and you're in business. And then I like making a Brava sauce with some mayo packets and some smoked paprika. And if you're getting crazy, you can pack a lemon on the trail. Yeah, don't worry. I think you can do that. It'll last for multiple days, no worries. But it's gonna give you a little bit of nice fresh pop. But that's kind of the base model. But I like adding some olives and maybe some roasted red peppers or fresh red peppers. Those give you some nice crunch and some extra flavor and some micronutrients, so you can really build up those layers of flavor there in your fast, tasty bowl. But man, the Brava bomb, the Brava sauce is a game changer. Surprise bonus recipe. All right, we've got elevated ramen, one of my absolute favorites, and ramen is a classic. But you can add some beef jerky, you can add some dried shiitake mushrooms plus some soy sauce. Throw that packet away that comes with it. You can make some better flavor with a few just dry ingredients or a couple packets that you probably have in your drawer right now. But I do love adding a couple fresh ingredients, whether that's a little bit more of that red pepper or some snap peas. They will last longer than you think. And again, will give you some nice crunch, some nice freshness, and some nice micronutrients that are sorely lacking out of some of these packaged meals. And if you have enough time, whittle up some campy chopsticks to complete the experience. But thanks for coming along down the tasty trail with me. Get out there, cook something amazing, somewhere awesome.